Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Emily and I make videos about books and about beauty. So today, since October is upon us, I wanted to share some of my favorite spooky book recommendations. So if you want to have some creepiness in your life, in your reading life, go ahead and keep watching.
Honey? Honey?
Okay, so if you know me, you probably know I'm kind of a scaredy cat. I don't watch horror movies. I still have nightmares about horror movies that I watched on accident or with friends because I was too afraid to say no when I was younger. So horror movies, not my thing, but I have discovered that I do enjoy a horror creepy book from time to time. I think it's partly because the visuals can come from my own brain. They're not forced on me, right? So I can imagine it slightly less scary if I need to. And also because I can close the book if I need to, or turn off the audiobook if I'm getting a little too creeped out. So the first one I want to talk about is the book called The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. And this was just a random book I picked up from my library's Libby app to listen to on audio, and it blew me away. It sounded interesting, the premise was kind of fun, but wow, it was one of those surprise 5-star reads. So this book is about a woman named Mouse who goes to clean out her late grandma's kind of hoarder house. And she's not super happy about it. Her and her grandma didn't have a good relationship, but you know, she does it out of the sense of duty. But little does she know that there are some supernatural happenings and creepy things happening in the woods behind the house. So it's awesome, super creepy. I think it's classed technically as folk horror, which is pretty fun. So it's takes some inspiration from different folk tales, but the atmosphere is so creepy. I listened to this book, this was dumb, but I listened to this book on audio while I was walking around outside through the woods. I don't recommend doing that unless you want to be terrified, but super great, super creepy, and all of the characters are really lovable. So I also have picked up T. Kingfisher's latest release, The Holo Places, and I haven't read this yet, but I'm really excited to start it because it sounds like it's a kind of similar atmosphere, similar vibe to The Twisted Ones, but this one involves a museum. Love me some museums, right? Whether it's Night at the Museum or The Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. I love stories that take place in a museum, and this one promises to be really creepy, so I will definitely bring you my review on this one once I finish it. So the next book I wanted to share is another one that I just picked up on a whim from the library. This one I read on my Kindle, and it's called The Winter People, and this is an awesome story that weaves through timelines, some back in like the 1800s I think, and also now, and it's about some, you know, witchcraft and magic, but also interweaves with a modern mystery. Super creepy, super awesome. And I know it's called The Winter People, but I feel like it's perfect for spooky fall season too. So this next book is called The Whisper Man by Alex North, and this one is a story about a serial killer. So if you know me, you know my favorite show of all time is Criminal Minds, so a creepy story about a serial killer is definitely going to pique my interest. And in this one, the serial killer was called the Whisper Man. He was kidnapping and killing boys and in the town of Featherbank, and he was caught and he's in jail. But suddenly, another boy goes missing in the same kind of way, and all while the man that they think is the Whisper Man is currently in jail. So it's the classic kind of, is it a copycat? Did we catch the wrong guy? Is it something supernatural? And we are following that kind of arc, but also following the story of a father and son who have just moved to this town when this boy goes missing, and they're trying to start over, and they have to deal with all of the kind of craziness that is happening when the Whisper Man is about. Next up is The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and this one, if you kind of like the vibe of true crime podcasts or YouTube videos, this is going to be the book for you. So this again takes place in 2 alternating timelines, and the 2 main characters, the first is named Viv, and her story takes place in the 80s where she is a night receptionist at the Sundown Motel. And while it seems like, you know, kind of a decent job, make some money, it ends up being creepy. There's some things that are just not right, maybe some supernatural things, and eventually she ends up going missing. And then in modern day, I think it says 2017 when this book was published, but in modern times, her niece, Carly, comes to the same place to try to investigate this mysterious disappearance of her aunt. And she ends up following in her Aunt Viv's footsteps and taking that same job at the Sundown Motel. And things are eerily similar to the 80s, and not just in the rundown old motel kind of way. So definitely some creepy supernatural elements, but also some true crime, some fun investigation going on in this book. And the last book I wanted to mention is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. All of his books are awesome. I'm a huge, huge fan, and I know his next book is coming out in summer 2021, and I absolutely cannot wait. But I think this is the most perfect for October, spooky season, if you want a creepy book to read. And this book, again, you know, if you've read maybe even one of my book reviews, you know I love alternating timelines or different perspectives for the same story. This book is no exception. It is about a woman named Maggie and the house that she lived in for a very short period of time when she was very young. And she doesn't remember anything about her time there, but her father published a book about their time living in that house that has since become a bestseller, super famous, claiming that it was a haunted house and claiming all of these things that they experienced there. But Maggie has grown up firmly believing that that book is total fiction. It was a cash grab and it's all made up, and her father lived a lie. So when her father passes away, she takes her home renovation business to this house, which her father still owned, and decides to renovate it to be able to sell it. And while she's there, some creepy things start happening, and she starts to wonder if maybe there was some truth to her father's book after all. And the chapters alternate between Maggie's present day point of view and a chapter from her father's book. So as the reader, you're kind of spending the whole time a little bit confused because, you know, you're being fed Maggie's true experiences, but then immediately before or after, you're finding out, you know, the parallels from her father's book, which she insists is fiction, but then it kind of seems like maybe it's not. So it's confusing in the best way, and the first half of it was really creepy. The second half was still really good and kept me, you know, turning the pages and reading, but it got a little bit less like spine-tingling creepy. But the first half of this, I was reading it alone in my room at night, and I had to put it down and read it downstairs in the sun the next day. So super great book, but if you want, you know, intense thriller mystery, any of his books I would recommend. So there you have it. Those are my 5 top spooky book recommendations. Please leave a comment down below and let me know any kind of spooky, creepy books that you think I should check out. I would love to add some more to my list for this October. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification icon before you go, and have a wonderful day.